Greetings, mighty companions.
Hello, friends and family. So good to see you guys all here. Greg Quinn, Anna Kujawa, and our best curriculum book that we come together to study and read, A Course in Miracles. We're so excited as we just finished, right? All of the Christmas holidays, all of the excitement with, for those that put up lights, for those that, went to social gatherings, both at work and with the family and friends. All of the excitement, all of what's been going on. Hopefully not too many drama lessons that we had to learn from. But if there were any, hopefully
you learned.
Cheers.
Hopefully you learned something.
And hopefully we did well with them because we recognized what was happening during those drama sessions, perhaps at any of those gatherings. But Anna and I were really feeling from spirit tonight. So good to see you guys as you're appearing on the screen. Anna and I were feeling from spirit tonight to let's just do forget all the classes, startups that we've done recently, everything we've talked about, whether it be the economies or, the
relationships, all kinds of stuff.
And what would you have, Spirit, for us as this is our last week as we enter into 2023, which we've been excited that Spirit has been really putting on our heart that this is a year of health.
Happiness, health, and wealth.
Happiness, wealth.
Happiness, health, and wealth.
Yes. And it's like that when you hear the judgment of God's coming at you. And you go, oh yeah, what is it? Happiness, wealth, and
health.
Abundance and joy. Just skipping along the sidewalk. And that's what really the heart of Creator truly desires. When we understand that, accept that, apply that Creator is for us, not against us. Meaning that Creator is excited when we're excited, shares in that excitement, joys in that joy when we're joying, and all of those different kind of attributes. And we're just feeling like Creator's just with us laughing more. We're laughing more with Creator. Creator's not laughing more with us. We're learning to laugh more with Creator. We're learning to feel at ease more with Creator, at peace more with Creator. And so it inspires me to, what is 23 going to be?
I just heard 2023, time to be free.
Time to be free.
That's what I just heard.
I love it.
Yeah, and that, I was just reading with a dear friend today, workbook lesson 100, and the workbook lesson says, God's will for me is perfect happiness. It said, my part in God's plan for the happiness of mankind is perfect happiness. And it was saying that the only thing that God wants for everyone is to be happy. God doesn't want anything from anybody. God wants for everybody happiness. Happiness, health, and wealth. That's all God wants. And how about in 2023, we set the goal of accepting our part in God's plan to give happiness to everyone.
Exactly.
That's,
Just receive it and be like a springboard, a trampoline mat that's just aimed at everybody around you. And just let happiness come and springboard off of you and bounce and hit everybody around you. That's what I experienced.
That's a great image.
Yes, that's what I experienced today.
Justin says, more tests the past week than I had thought I asked for. Wink, wink. Trisha says, Today has been 5 o'clock all day, really long. Had so much time to do miracles today. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, and Trisha said boing.
Yep.
The bouncing sound.
Yep, boing.
All right, so Spirit, what is it that you would have us hear and understand here in this last class of 2022? And what is it you would have us hear possibly for the new year? So what section do you want us to hear? Last class of 22 and new beginning in 2023. What would you have us hear? What would you have us understand? What would you have us learn? Okay? Yeah. All right, so go ahead.
I feel like a little kid right now. Like I can just feel spirits.
28.
Spirits rumbling like, all right.
Okay. Oh, you want to know what I want you to understand?
I want to send you out into 2023.
All right.
What kind of gift of understanding I want to give?
Yep.
So there's 7 sections. This is from the annotators.
And since you asked, it's gonna be
5.
5. Share
not evil dreams.
Share not evil dreams in 2023.
In 2023.
Share not evil dreams. Don't be a part of evil dreams, which is the same as saying ego dreams. No ego dreams. And 2023.
And don't share them. If you got them, don't share them.
If you don't want them, don't share them.
Yeah.
If you don't want them, don't share them. Yeah, that's the key. That's the key right there.
The mic right there. I don't
exactly.
Even know if I don't want them,
don't share them. Exactly.
That's a good T-shirt.
No, don't share evil.
But we don't have the T-shirt, facing out for people to read. We have it upside down, so we can look down and remember.
Oh, there you go.
You don't want it.
Right. So now, do you want to grab the blue covered edition and see if we can find it in the blue covered edition? So we are in the purple covered edition, which is the original dictation, but with notations from Robert Perry and a bunch of other wonderful stuff. The blue covered edition. So look up what's close, and I'll go ahead and start. All right. Hi, Pam. Lovely to see you. And Trisha says, okay, Trisha, let's see. Trisha, why don't you share? Thank you for asking. Hold on, Trisha. Just wait a minute to see if Greg can find it in here. Okay. What is a sense? What is a sense of sickness? What is a sense of sickness? Is that
the same?
Yeah. What is it? What is? Oh, beautiful. Oh, it's not the same.
Different
title. Okay. So in the blue book, same chapter, 28, section 5. So that's what you can post, Trisha. Thank you for asking. 28.5.
In both
28.5, and that ain't no jive.
No jiving in the book.
And I love it. Now, in the blue book, what's the title? The alternative to projection.
The alternative to dreams of fear.
Okay. So the alternative to dreams of fear. Put that in there, Trisha. The alternative to dreams of fear. Okay. Dog just burped. And the alternative to dreams of fear. Does anybody got any experiences of fear going on that they would like an alternative to? So there's an alternative to my fearful experiences that I'm having right now. This really difficult, painful experience. You're telling me there's an alternative to that. You're telling me that it doesn't have to be that way. Is that what you're saying, Course in Miracles? And Course in Miracles says yes. Okay. And another way of saying a dream of fear or a fearful experience is a sense of sickness. Do you ever notice how when you feel fear, it don't feel good? You kind of feel soul sick, right? Fear is a soul sickness. Now, what is a sense of sickness but a sense of limitation? I feel limited. I feel sick. I'm experiencing fear. I'm experiencing fear. I feel a sense of sickness. I'm experiencing a sense of limitation. Who likes the feeling of being limited?
Nobody.
Who likes the feeling of being sick?
Just admit it, nobody does.
Who likes fear? Anyone? All right. Nobody likes feeling it. Now it says, and what is a sense of limitation? What is a sense of sickness? It's a sensation of a splitting off and a separating from. Okay? That's what a sense of sickness is. I feel split off. I feel separated from. Okay? How do you feel when you feel split off and separated from others? Does that feel good?
No, you feel not wanted, not needed, not appreciated, not valued.
Yes.
And all of that makes you feel isolated.
Yes, exactly. It makes you feel limited and it makes you feel sick. Okay. All
Unequal.
synonyms. Exactly. Unequal. Yes. In other words, when you are experiencing fear and sickness, you are perceiving a gap between yourself and what is seen as health. That is what a sense of sickness is. There's health over here and I'm over here. And there's a gap between me and health. That's what a sense of sickness is. Okay? Beautiful. Now then it says, when you're feeling a sense of sickness or you're feeling a sense of limitation, you're seeing the good as outside of you and the evil as inside of you. Okay? The health is outside of me, the good is outside of me, but what's inside of me, that's the evil stuff. That's the bad stuff. That's the stuff I don't want to look at. That's the stuff I don't want to admit that I perceive is within me. And in this way, sickness is a separating off of yourself from good and keeping evil inside of you. That's what sickness is. Whatever's good, that's not what's inside of me right now. I don't feel like a good person. I don't feel good inside. I see good as out there somewhere and then the evil inside of me. All right. That's what a sense of sickness is. Okay? All right. Now, it says, God is the alternate to dreams of fear. All this sense of sickness and limitation and separateness from goodness, there's an alternate. There's an alternate to what we just described as a sense of sickness. There's an alternative to that sense of sickness that we just described. And what is that alternative? It's very simply God.
That's a pretty good alternate.
Exactly.
Hey, we got an alternate to fill in.
Bring in the alternate.
Number 4 is kind of hurting right now. Who do we got?
Bring in the
God?
understudy. Oh, shit.
Well,
Okay. We were definitely going to win.
Okay. All right, bring them in. Well, wait till they see this, people. Oh, wow.
Exactly.
We got God as an alternate. Well, if we knew that, we knew he couldn't fill, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
We should have started with God to begin with. But that's all right.
Okay.
That's all right. It's never too late to make the right choice for the right alternate.
Alternate.
Yes. Exactly.
To dreams of fear, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I'm experiencing this sense of sickness, I'm experiencing fear, I'm experiencing being isolated and split off and separated from and lonely and alone. I'm perceiving myself as evil in here and whatever's good somewhere outside of me. And you're telling me there's an alternate, that there's an alternative way to feel. And that's what the entire Course in Miracles is about. P.S. There's got to be a better way, and there is, and this is one of those better ways.
And this is what all of us can appreciate and love about a Course in Miracles, is there's not a one of us that doesn't have dreams of fear. From, how am I going to get this bill paid, to how am I going to get the IRS off my back, that how's my child doing, how's my parents doing, how's my grandparents doing, how's you know, the weather doing?
Maybe I have cancer.
How's my job doing? How's my health doing?
Yeah.
And, you know, if we were fortunate to just have one dream of fear, that'd be wonderful, but we have multiple dreams of fear in our life. But who can't relate to that, hey, with every single one of those dreams of fear, from I can't figure out how I'm going to pay the bill to I don't know how my relationship's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of those dreams of fear that we have are alternate to that. In other words, rather than put that into our playbook, is love.
Yes.
Is God.
Mm-hmm.
Is peace.
Yes.
Is joy.
That's right.
Is happiness. Is fruitfulness. Is abundance.
Yes.
It's just everything going right.
Everything good.
Everything good.
Everything good. And so whatever kind of experience of fear you've got going on, or whatever kind of sense of sickness that you have going on, the Course in Miracles wants to remind us that there's an alternative to that.
Every one of them.
You know, you could be experiencing something else. The experience of fear and sickness and pain is not the only option of what you can be experiencing. I know it looks like that. We know it feels like that. You know, we're fooled by that many times ourselves. Absolutely.
Get scared out of our socks about things.
Exactly. And so, of course,
that's why I say we can all relate to this.
Exactly.
Who of us any that can't appreciate to, I have an alternate to all my dreams of fear?
Mm-hmm. And a dream of fear is an experience of fear. You know, of course, in Miracle says if you're experiencing anything besides love, peace, joy, happiness, health, and wealth, then you're experiencing something that's not in alignment with reality, which means it's a fantasy.
Right.
It's a dream. You know, the Course in Miracles describes reality as loving, abundant, free, unlimited, not separate, not lonely. And so, you know, that's why he's saying the dream, share not evil dreams. You know, a dream is something that you think is happening, you're interpreting it to be happening. It's painful, but it's not actually an accurate interpretation of the situation. Okay, that's what a dream is. And so the Course in Miracles is telling us that whatever kind of sick or limited or painful, fearful experience you're having, there is an alternative. There's an alternate experience that you can be having if you want it, if you want one. And so the question is, well, how can I be experiencing an alternate to this? The question is, if there was an alternate, would I like to experience something different than this? Would I like to? Do I want to? That's what we should be asking ourselves, because our part is to say, there's got to be a better way, and I would like to hear a better way, Spirit. And then it's Spirit's job to produce or to provide that alternate,
right,
that alternate experience called joy and abundance, happiness, health, and wealth.
Where you're looking at the same experience and you see love's presence there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see the experience of before. Love was never there, love was gone, love was missing. But now that you prayed the special prayer or did the special act or remembered to apply the special principle, that love showed up, that's not how it works. Love was there all the time.
Yeah.
Love was there from top to bottom, side to side, front to back, corner to corner.
Yeah.
Every ounce of that space was filled with love's presence. And so we're just asking, you know, I could have this dream of fear, or I can have an alternate. I could realize, it's almost like I feel like the Creator standing next to us when we're fearing and saying, come on now.
Would you like a better way?
Look at it again.
Would you like a better way?
I'm not going to take it away so you don't have to look at it. I'm saying look at it.
And would you like a better way?
Yeah, would you like a better way to see what you're looking at?
Yes.
The way that you're limited. That's at the very beginning. Sickness is but a sense of limitation. The limitation is not wanting to go beyond our perception of how we're seeing this fearful dream, and we don't want an alternate.
Exactly.
Because, but sickness is staying in that limitation.
Right.
And not going beyond that. And saying, as Anna and I are always having to do with each other, with ourselves together in our relationship, we get frustrated just like everybody about things, and then we have to look at each other and go,
all right,
there's
Spirit.
got to be a win-win here. There's got to be a better way to see this.
Exactly.
What's going on?
And that's what it's saying, is that the alternate to dreams of fear and sickness and limitation is turning to Creator, to love, to God, and going, is there a different way to look at this? Is there another way to look at this? That's what it means when it says God is the alternate to dreams of fear. You can either have your dream of fear and go deeper and deeper into it, where it gets darker and darker and more fearful, or you can turn to God and go, hey God, what's the truth here? What's the reality of this situation that I'm obviously not seeing because I'm in hell? And that's what it means when it says God is the alternate to dreams of fear.
And now you've gone beyond limitation.
Now you've gone limitation.
And now you're going beyond sickness.
Exactly.
Because you're going to get the right story.
Yeah, the right story, exactly. The right truth.
Understanding.
Exactly.
Whatever it is that you need to get right, you're going to
Yes. And if you're experiencing fear and sickness and pain and lack, then you are not seeing it correctly. That's what A Course in Miracles is teaching us, that reality is only loving, only abundant, only safe, and only eternal. And the same for everyone. And so if you're not experiencing those qualities, you are not seeing things the way they are. You're seeing things as you have learned to see them, or you're seeing things the way you want them to be. So the sense of limitation is you are limiting yourself in opening your mind to seeing it another way. That's
a higher way.
A more loving and free and abundant way.
Yeah, now you got your eyes of seeing it and God's the alternative. Who we got for the
alternate?
Who's alternate?
It's God.
God.
Oh, you mean
wow,
the author?
That's gonna help.
Yeah.
That's gonna help how to look at this.
I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Boy, that might add some vision to the party there.
Exactly. I love it. Jerry says, love is always there like a kind friend waving on the shore.
Yes, love is just waiting.
Exactly.
Just waiting.
I have hiccups.
And what better place to be, Jerry, than on a shore?
Exactly. All right. Okay, so then it says, and who shares in dreams of fear and sickness and separateness can never share in God, but who withdraws their mind from sharing fearful dreams is sharing God. And there is no other choice but to share in God. Okay, so you can't be engaging your mind in fear and sickness and separateness and anger and victimness, and also be experiencing the reality authored by God. Okay, and only when you withdraw your mind from sharing in fearful dreams, only then can you share in God. Okay, and big difference, sharing in fear and sharing in God. Totally different experiences. One experience is hellish. The other experience is ecstatic and abundant and free and fun. Okay.
I find this very entertaining.
Little contrast.
We've been taught throughout our lives, to those of us that grew up in different religious environments, to share God. And we think the way to share God is to go up to people and say, God loves you, so that they would know God. And here we're being told specifically how to share God. Is you want to go and evangelize the world? You want to evangelize the world so that they would know God? So that you would be like a conduit so that they could know God, to share God with them? Well, then withdraw your mind, not your body actions and your words. Withdraw your mind.
Withdraw your mind from fear.
Their fearful dreams.
Yes.
Their fearful dreams of, you're not going to believe what just happened. That's not to say you can't listen to them, and that's not to say that doesn't make, that makes total sense how that would scare you.
Doesn't mean you're not empathetic.
You're comforting, but your mind is doing something else, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Your mind can do whatever it wants to do while you're also consoling the rest of your body to do what it needs to do.
Yes, he says, and there really isn't any other choice, because when you're sharing in the ego, when you're engaging your mind with the ego, you're not really doing anything, So there really isn't any other choice but to engage your mind in God, which is to say to engage your mind in love and truth. Now it says, except you share it, nothing can exist. Okay? And you exist because God shared God's mind with you, that God's creation might create. So how do we exist? Because God shared God's self with us, and because God shared God's mind with us, now we can create like God. So it all comes from sharing. We came from sharing. We create like God by sharing. Sharing is how creation happens. That's creation, by the way. Creation is not, let there be light. Creation is sharing. When we share ideas of the mind, we are co-creating. We were created by God sharing his mind with us. We create like God by sharing our minds. That's how creation occurs. The sharing of mind, sharing of ideas, sharing of mind. Oh, we're of one mind. Oh, we just co-created.
And here's the thing, because we can't see what our mind's doing, our thoughts are doing. I can't see what Anna's thoughts are doing in her mind. But it's the same category as I can't see God. And so God can't really be powerful. Can God? Because I can't see God. But yet God is consciousness. It's thought. It's mind.
Yes.
It's awareness.
Yeah.
Your body's not aware of anything.
Nope. It's just the dumb terminal.
All your body is a suit that does what you tell it to do.
A meat suit.
Your mind tells it what to do.
Yes, exactly.
And it obeys your mind. We believe the body does.
Yeah.
And then we obey the body, but it's not that way. And the problem is we can't see the thoughts in our minds, and so we don't give them credit as how incredibly powerful the creativity of our mind is. As a man thinks, so he is.
And so he perceives, and so he experiences. And so what it just said here is that what you share in, you are creating. And so if you're sharing with people fear and guilt and lack and loss and limitation and sin and shame, if that's what you're sharing with people, then that's what you're creating, And so we want to be very conscious about what it is that we're sharing in. What are we sharing? We want to be very conscious about that. Are you sharing in dreams of evil, like that's terrible, that's horrible, they should be ashamed of that, you should be blah blah blah? Or do you want to be sharing in loving ideas of guiltlessness and happiness, health, and wealth? You know, because so it's a really good lesson, because we've learned that, like you were kind of alluding to, we've learned that to help people is to join in their suffering. We've learned that empathy is joining in people's suffering. Well, joining in people's suffering and sharing their suffering is actually making more suffering. And so there's a way to be a healing, loving presence with others without making the misery more, without adding to the misery. There's a way of comforting others without making their misery and their fear deeper. And this is what this section is talking about. You know, don't share ego dreams. Don't join in the suffering. That's not how you lighten suffering. That's not how you lighten suffering. I'm going to join their suffering. I'm going to go, oh, that's terrible, but you think that's bad? Listen to what I blah, blah, blah. You know, there's a way, there's an alternative to joining in their suffering. There's an alternative to that actually lightens not only their suffering, but yours too. Okay.
Yeah, whatever we do with our minds, we do in co-creation. It takes 2 or 3 to gather together, and then you'll bring whatever you're manifesting.
You're co-creating.
So if this person, you know, manifesting an evil dream, our job is to recognize that, to comfort them to the best that, you know, sometimes I find myself many times just saying, as it's going on, Spirit, what would you have me say? You know, in my mind, I'm talking.
Yes.
Because that's where the power is. That's where the power plant is. That's where the source of creation is manifested. And I don't want to get caught in this trap here. I want to be a helper. I don't want to be, you know, just
make it worse.
A part of the problem.
Yes, we don't want to be part of the problem.
You know, when we're talking about preparing for the days coming, it's because we want to be helpers.
Yes.
Part of what's helping, not part of the problem.
Yep.
So when this, you know, story comes up and they're talking about their dream, I have to either be able to communicate in a way that's not condemning them, not judging them, not, in other words, not making another evil dream on top of it.
Yeah, not sharing of their evil or ego dream.
But just being loving and comforting and asking Spirit what to do and say. Exactly.
And that's like, while they're talking, turning to God, you know. And Demi says, I was with a friend today who was talking for 20 minutes of stressful things. I'd not seen her in 4 months. I finally handed her a Christmas gift to shift the conversation. I didn't join in suffering, but it was very difficult to interject. I asked Spirit to. Good job, exactly. And also I want to say hi, Monica. Lovely to see you as well too. Monica says she missed us for a while. So wonderful to see you again, Monica. And thanks for coming to class yesterday, Monday, Monica. Wonderful to have you here in our healing circle.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're learning how it is that...
And that's a great story. I love that.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of what we were just...
It happened today.
Yeah.
And that was a perfect demonstration of what we're reading.
Exactly.
Perfect.
You know, in the section called True Empathy, it talks about how we've all learned that that empathy is, well, I just join in their suffering, and I go, oh, that's terrible, what a bastard.
Because we do care about them.
Right, and we
want to help them.
And we learned that that's how you do it.
We learned that's what to do.
We learned that, and the Course in Miracles says, no, that's joining in the suffering.
That's keeping the suffering going.
And that's keeping the suffering for both of you.
That's guaranteeing more evil dreams are going to come.
For both of you.
For you to overcome.
For both of you.
Being able to see
exactly. So maybe it was just them talking about, their, bad experience, their suffering. But if you join in that, guess what? Now you got it. Now you just created it for yourself. Yep. Just from joining in their suffering. So when it says, don't share evil dreams, that's what it's saying. It's saying don't join in the suffering with the idea that that's going to lighten their suffering. There's an alternative way to, there's a, you can turn, the alternative is turning to God. God, what would you have me say to this person? God, what would you have, how would you have me interpret this? What would you have me say? What would you have me do in this situation with this person? How can I, instead of joining in their suffering, how can I bring light? How can I bring in love? Okay, so that's what we're talking about. So when it's talking about the sharing of evil dreams, we're not talking about, evil in the traditional sense, We're saying that,
well, anything that's not bringing happiness,
anything that's
is
not
evil.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's not bringing joy, happiness, excitement, uplifting,
then it's an evil dream. And here's what an evil dream is. It's a perception of hate and malice, bitterness and death, sin and suffering, pain and loss. That's an evil dream.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like you're evil, I'm evil, they're evil. That's not what an evil dream is. It's an experience, it's a perception that includes hate, malice, bitterness, death, sin, suffering, pain, and loss.
That can be loss of a job, a relationship,
just
a car,
anything,
a pet.
Anything. Anything, any kind of loss.
Any kind of loss.
And when you share
pain,
when you join in people's perceptions of hate, malice, bitterness, death, sin, suffering, pain, and loss, then it makes them seem to be real.
And why are they evil? Because these are all the cousins, all the family members of the illusion.
The belief in sin.
Of the belief in sin and guilt.
Right.
These are all of the effects that came from the belief in guilt, of which we've been talking about for weeks. And they show up. And now, this story of malice and bitterness and death and suffering or pain or loss, all of these stories, they show up. And now, you and I, and Demi just demonstrated so beautifully, we have that opportunity not just to spare ourselves, not just to help protect me, God, from all of this evilness, but to free my brother who's in this evil dream of malice or suffering or pain or whatever.
There's their own sickness.
And just merely by not joining them in my mind with this story. I don't have to get in an argument with them. It doesn't say get in a debate with them. Any of that. That's where we also get. I know I do. I feel really tempted sometimes to say, just throw out some stupid truth thing. That's not gonna make them feel better.
Right. And so that's why it says the alternate to joining in their suffering is God. Right. So it didn't say you coming up with something that's really brilliant where you're not joining in their suffering, but you're also, bringing in the truth in such a way, whatever. You turn immediately while they're talking, and usually you'll have plenty of time because
they got some stuff to tell you.
Like Demi said, her friend was talking for 20 minutes straight, didn't even, people who are talking about their dreams of suffering, usually they're talking for a while. Usually it's a long story. Usually it's a long story. Yeah. And so you'll have plenty of time while they're telling you their long their long story of hate, malice, bitterness, death, sin, suffering, pain, and loss, you'll have plenty of time to go, God, Spirit, love, how would you have me speak to this person? What would you have me say? What would you have me do? Spirit, what's your interpretation of the story that they're telling me of bitterness, malice, sin, death, loss, and suffering? And pretty much by the time they stop talking, by the time they stop telling you their suffering story, if they do, then you will have heard from Spirit
what to do.
What to say, what to say in such a way where you're not joining in their evil dream, but what you're doing instead is you're offering something that is an alternative to them. You just checked in for an alternative from God. Now you will be offering them lovingly an alternative. And so to the point where they've told you their evil dream, their suffering, and when they're finished talking, and you're like, wow, that makes sense. You might have felt that way. And if you could feel something different, would you like to? Would you be into that? And they're like, and sometimes they'll be like, no, there's no other way to see what I'm going through. And you go, okay, well, I was just asking. Anyway, I'll see you next week. I wish you all the best, and if they say, sure,
Why are you agreeing? You don't agree with me that they were a butthead?
No, I just said it makes sense you might feel that way. So I've already empathized. I didn't say you're an idiot for seeing it like that. I actually said it makes sense you might see it that way.
Yeah.
And then offer the alternative, way of seeing it that I just heard when I tuned in to the Voice for Love, who gave me an alternate way of seeing what they were talking about. And then
if that's what Spirit
if that's what Spirit says. Sometimes Spirit says all this person needs is just that somebody cared enough to listen.
Just to listen.
That's it. And you don't know what Spirit's gonna say. But you won't have an alternative to joining with him in the suffering until you turn to Spirit and ask for another way of looking at what they're sharing with you.
Yeah, sometimes people get their answer just by talking out loud and venting.
Yeah.
And then the answer comes through their own mouth.
Yes, exactly.
So
all the
answers,
true.
all the answers are different. If it was a one answer fits all, we wouldn't need to ask Spirit.
That's right.
And when we ask Spirit, I know both Anna and I have experienced this. You'll recognize it because it's peaceful and it's right. You'll feel it's right.
Yeah.
This isn't. It's just love. You can feel love's presence in the answer.
Yes, exactly.
And it'll come out of her mouth to me, and I'll be like, "Wow, that!" And we both will look at each other and go, "That was Spirit."
That was Spirit. That was Spirit. Exactly. And the very act of waiting to respond, asking Spirit for an alternate interpretation, and even waiting till you hear it, is the most loving thing that you can really give to somebody who's suffering. It really is.
Totally.
Don't give them your answer. Your answers are not a loving gift. Why do you want to give them your answers? And your answer is going to be the first thing that comes to mind, because ego always speaks first. So whatever it is you immediately think to say, wait a little bit and ask.
And when that person's sitting there with their miserable, evil
story,
fear dream that they're having, and you're trying to think how to shake them gently, to awaken them gently from their fear dream. It's not just Spirit we're calling on. It's not just the Holy Spirit or angel so and so. But as we heard earlier, this alternative is God.
Yeah.
This is like
even though
the
authority.
we forget that the Holy Spirit is symbolically the voice
for
of
God. The voice for God.
And so imagine this person is lucked into, they just totally lucked into, they ran into the person. That what that person does when they tell them an evil dream story is they literally become a conduit, you know,
for the ultimate reality,
an open door, a channel, way for God, an invitation. Because instead of giving them their opinion, going, yeah, that is a miserable piece of person.
Yeah, they do deserve to go to jail.
They listen, but in their mind they go, hold on, I'm gonna
ask the real authority.
I'm gonna go get an alternate God
interpretation.
And that might be helpful.
Yes, exactly.
More than I can bring to the table.
Yes.
And I know I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I can see why
I'm really smart, but
you know,
I'm still gonna check in with the real authority. I'd like to
just see if he's got anything to say. I mean,
better than what I would come up
probably
with.
not.
But still, see, and that's damn near enlightened.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I'm gonna check in with the real authority, God, Spirit. You know, you're almost to the lawns of heaven. You know, even though it's still obviously the epitome of arrogance, but at least we're like, but I'll ask.
And how neat that person has now a chance from hearing from God.
Yes.
Not just from Anna or Bob or...
Yes, exactly. And you know, one of the themes that Greg and I were being schooled in by Spirit for the last few months is that we think that only very few people hear God, and only the people who heard God, that was like thousands of years ago, and nobody really hears from God anymore, and if they do, they're a big fake. But of course, in Miracles teaches us that actually God speaks to you through your brothers and your sisters, because God knows that you're probably not going to hear God any other way. And so, you know, that's been a big theme, is that, I speak to you through others, right? Right? You say you want my answer. You say, well, you want my answer. Well, I'm answering you through your brothers and sisters, but you're not listening to me through them, you know. And so God is speaking to them through you who ask for an alternate interpretation before you open your mouth. Okay, and so, you know, so.
Well, I'm thankful to know, you know, for my relationships that I am in, that my partners in my relationships, that we've communicated, we've talked about it, and it's nice to know with certain of my relationships that I know, like for example with Anna, of course, that, you know, I could be venting out, but a part of me knows that she's in there calling on God
while I'm listening to Him.
You know, because my brain is like a circus at the time. You know, it's just running 100 miles an hour with my story and my fear dream, you know, that I'm in. And but it is comforting when you're with friends and partners in your relationships that you talk about these things, and that, you know, hey, that person over there, you know, at least they're going to listen to me, and I know where they're coming from, that they don't just bring themselves to the party.
Yeah.
That's good to have in a relationship. That's good insurance.
Absolutely, and that's, you know, that's what I feel is different about me as a therapist than other psychotherapists. Is that other psychotherapists most psychotherapists are trained not to ask the spirit while their client is talking, you know, for spirit's interpretation. But I've learned from A Course in Miracles, and when my clients are speaking to me, I'm listening for the interpretation of God, of spirit. And so then when it's time for me to speak in the session, then my clients are getting God through me. They're getting something that is coming from God, because I asked God, because I asked God before I spoke. And so, that's what we're all supposed to be for each other. We can all be the voice for God. We can all channel the voice for God for each other. And like I was saying earlier, God speaks to us through other people, because God knows that we're not very good at listening to God directly yet. Most of us don't listen to God directly yet because we don't think we can. Most of us don't think we can talk to God directly, and then actually hear something, and so God's like, well, I'm gonna have to use other people then, and so for the people who are like, well, God, what do you think? God's like, finally, yay, somebody that I can speak to my children through. Thank you. And how great and how grateful do you think God's going to be to you if you allow God to use you to speak to God's children who don't think they can talk to God directly. God's going to be so grateful to you. So like, oh, thank you. Oh my God.
And it's not even that we don't think that we can talk to God. It's this weird, crazy thing that happens. We get caught up in our fear dream story, our interpretation of what's going on, and we forget to call on God. And that's where we continually mess up, is that we have that access all the time. Whether somebody else is around or not, we have that access to call and say, hey, what's going on in this story here?
Exactly.
So did we already make it to the end of paragraph 1?
Yeah, we're in paragraph 2.
Oh, okay.
Paragraph 2, sentence 2 in the original edition. And then I wanted to see, Demi said, yes, all day long I feel messages come from people, songs, animals, etc.
Exactly.
Beautiful, very beautiful. Thank you, Demi.
When you're listening, it comes.
Yes.
It could come from a billboard driving down the road.
Exactly.
And you'll be laughing because it's exactly.
You'll be cracking up. You'll be like,
it's the answer to what you were just.
You'll be like,
spirit about.
And God not only does God speak to you through other people, but God speaks to you through animals, children, billboards. Spirit isn't limited. Spirit is not limited, in the ways that Spirit can talk to you. If you're like, okay, God, what do you think about this? What's your interpretation? Spirit is not limited in its ability to answer you at all. And the fact that you have asked for Spirit's interpretation guarantees you will get a response. You will get answered. You may not recognize that answer in the moment, but then the next thing you know, you pass that billboard and you see that and you go, that's it. Okay. So just the fact that you're asking guarantees that you will be answered. Okay. I love it. And Irene says, yes, finally I can speak through someone for my children. Beautiful. Hi, Jean. Lovely to see you. Hi, Steve. Lovely to see you. It's wonderful to see you guys regularly, consistently. You just are such a profound gift to us as facilitators. Yes. To see your names and feel your energy consistently, through the weeks, through the months, through the years. It's like, as a facilitator, it's the greatest gift you could give to facilitators, who still have doubts and fears and, about what we're doing. So bless you and really, truly thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right. Okay, so we're on in this book. Yes. We're on the sentence that says, okay, I'm just going to start back at paragraph 2, so it flows. Okay, paragraph 2. It says, it is the sharing of the evil dreams of hate, malice, bitterness, death, sin, suffering, pain, and loss that makes all that sin, suffering, pain, loss, bitterness, and death, hate, malice seem real. When I go, oh my God, terrible. That's horrible. You poor victim. Oh my God. Oh my, you just deserved it. Blah blah.
No, you just solidified
I just made it seem real.
You just poured some cement.
I just poured some kerosene on that fire. Okay, and but if I don't share, if I don't join in the suffering, if I'm not joining in their suffering, then they will see that their suffering is meaningless. What? They'll be like, well, she didn't. She seemed to think there's some kind of alternative, that I don't really have to be experiencing it like that. Like, she actually was like laughing, telling me that I dodged a bullet, and congratulations. So obviously, maybe the way I was seeing it is meaningless, not the only way to see that. You know, I was you know, thinking that I had been abandoned and tortured and attacked, and she told me I had dodged a bullet. So she didn't join in my suffering, and then all of a sudden my suffering was meaningless and I found myself laughing. How weird was that? Okay? Unshared, their suffering and bitterness and hate and malice is perceived as meaningless. What does that mean? That means now the fear is gone from their dreams of bitterness, death, sin, suffering, pain, and loss, because you didn't give them your support. And where their fear has gone, their love must come, because there are but these alternatives: fear or love. Wow. Beautiful. What is it? The fear is gone from them because you did not give their fear and suffering, hate and malice support. And where fear has gone, their love must come. That would be a great t-shirt. Where fear has gone, there must love come. Because there's only those two alternatives, fear and love. Okay? Where fear is gone, love must come. Where fear comes, love is gone. The fear and love cannot be in the same place at the same time, because they are opposites. Now, in other words, where one appears, the other disappears. And which one you share, love or fear, becomes the only one you have. Whichever one you share is the one you have. Dang.
Now, you can't have love or fear at the same time.
Right.
And so if they're having fear, what chance will they possibly have if we join them in that fear?
Exactly.
Then there will only be fear.
Exactly.
But if we
bring love,
now what's up?
Yes.
And so, once again.
Thank you. I love it. Irene says, so appreciate you and how you and Greg too, and how consistent you two are.
Oh,
thank you. That's a miracle for us. That's a miracle for us. Thank you. To be consistent in this. Too. Yeah.
Irene, you are on the top of
absolutely.
The list.
Totally.
And we really appreciate your support and all of you.
Oh my God.
Trisha, Jean.
Oh, you guys keep us going.
Jimmy, we could
you truly keep us going. You know, there are so many days when Greg and I are like, why do we do it? Well, it's a blah, you know. And you guys who are here so consistently literally keep us doing this, which saves us. You know, the fact that we share the truth keeps us sane. It keeps us sane. It keeps us loving. It keeps us open to you know, doing God's will instead of our own. And so truly, you know, so grateful. And Demi says, you two are magical and incredibly inspiring.
Beautiful.
You two, yeah. Beautiful. Bless you guys. I love it. I'm gonna cry. Don't cry.
I can't cry. You're the reader.
I know, I'm the reader. I can't cry. And then it will make my nose run, and then it'll make my mascara run, and so I cannot do that. Okay. Now, it says, and which one you share. Do you share in their fear, or do you share love? Do you share in their fear, or do you share love? Okay, whatever one you share is going to be the only one you have. Okay, now then it says, and you have the one which you accept because it's the only one you wish to have. Now, you share no evil dreams of hate, malice, bitterness, death, suffering, pain, and loss if you forgive who? The dreamer, the person who's talking, and perceive that they are not the dream they made. And so they cannot be a part of yours, from which you both are free. What do we say? 2023, the year that we are free.
That's what you said.
2023, the year we are free.
It's a coincidence.
Yes, that I said, I got that right at the beginning of class. Okay, I love it. Now it says that here's how you don't share in their dreams of hate, malice, evil, bitterness, death, sin, suffering, pain, and loss. Here's how you do it. You forgive them. How do you forgive them? You realize they are not the dream they're sharing. They are not their dream. They're the dreamer. They're not their dream. They're the dreamer, not their dream. And so while they're telling you their experiences of hate, malice, bitterness, death, sin, suffering, pain, and loss, you're going, that's not who they really are. You know, the dream they're sharing with me, that's not who they are. They're the dreamer. They're not the dream. So while they're sharing, you're separating their dream from them while they're talking, while they're sharing. That's you not sharing their evil dreams. Separating the dreamer from the dream, remembering that's their ego talking. That's their ego talking, right? That's not them. That's how you don't share their evil dreams.
Yeah, that's them being stuck in limitation because they're not able to see the circumstance of the story from all directions around it.
Yes.
Like God could.
Exactly.
And so when you perceive the dreamer different, it says when we don't share their evil dreams, and how do we do that? If we forgive the dreamer, and forgive is to see something different.
Yeah.
To forgive is to say to see it another way. And so if we have to forgive the dreamer, we have to see the dreamer another way. And like Anna was saying, that's great, is we have to see them as not a victim, or whatever Spirit's telling you. Don't see them as a victim. You know, Greg, you know they're not a victim.
Exactly. Don't see them as the victim they see themselves as.
Or whatever Spirit's telling me.
Yeah, right.
And it's going to come from truth. But we're not going to say, well, you're not your body, so stop worrying about that.
You know that's not real, right?
You know, that's not going to make them go, oh, I feel so relieved. Thank you for making me feel stupid.
I feel so much better now.
In my misery.
Thank you. Not only was I miserable before, but now I feel stupid.
And it's almost, I hate to say it like this, it feels like it's almost like you're the Christmas elf, you know, that little guy that walks up and you're gonna wave the feather in front of him, but you need the magic dust, and the magic dust is what Spirit tells us to do in that situation. But you're the healer. You brought good tidings because you're bringing the voice of God with you into this situation, which they're oblivious to right now. They can't hear it right now because just like we've been, they're caught in a trap. I'm caught in
a trap. I can't
let go
because I hate you too much, baby. Yeah. Okay, that's what he was really meaning. Okay,
so we have to see the dreamer different.
We have to separate the dreamer from the dream.
And perceive
Separate
that.
the dreamer from the dream.
Right.
And that's what forgiveness really means. Separate the dreamer from the dream.
Yeah.
That's what forgiveness really means. You know, it's like, I hear your dream, but I know you ain't that's not you. That's just your dream. It's what you're dreaming, but you're not your dream. You're the dreamer. You know, the dreamer is not the dream they're having.
Right.
And forgiveness separates the dreamer from their evil dream, their ego dream. And when you separate the dreamer from their dream, then guess what happens? You release them from their ego evil dream. You release them from that dream of bitterness, malice, sin, suffering, pain, and death. You release them from it because, you know, they're telling you about their victim story, and you're like, you know, not seeing them as victim, not seeing them as their dream. And all of a sudden, now their evil dream doesn't seem to make much sense. Like, I'm telling you my dream, but you're not really joining in it, and you're loving and seeing me loving, and now it just doesn't seem to be so true anymore. You know, I'm telling you about my evil dream, and you weren't like, oh no, the bastards. You know, you were kind of laughing. You were like lovingly laughing, not laughing at me, but you were like laughing, and also that all of a sudden you were happy for me. Like, what? You know, all of a sudden I didn't feel like I was so trapped by the painful experience that I was sharing with you. And so in other words, when you separate the dreamer from the dream, you release them from their painful dream. And you too, because now you know that you're not your dream. Now you know you're not your evil dream, your victim dream, your dream of limitation and pain and suffering and bitterness and hate.
Well, and you're not co-planting with them the agreement of whatever this is, lack, misery, malice, bitterness. You're not co-creating that seed
more
with
of
them for you to experience, you know, down the road, whether it be a few moments from now, a day, a few days. But why would I want to co-create that from my mind with you? If we just keep remembering, we're literally always creating from our mind. We're creating nothing. You know, we're just sitting around sleeping, doing nothing.
Yep.
We have the ability to do that.
Yep.
Or we have the ability to create what is good, the beautiful, and the holy.
Yes.
Whole and complete.
Yes.
And so I love this. It's a reminder going into 23 is let's be heroes. Let's be
the hero of the dream.
Let's be the saviors.
Let's be the saviors of the dream.
The white knights.
Yeah.
That just sit there and refuse to join their evil dream.
Yes,
Even though it's going to be very tempting at times, because they could very well be saying something you agree with.
Exactly, the way you felt.
Bingo, we have a bingo.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Exactly.
And oh boy, that's when it's really going to be hard to call on God. Or go, no, God, we don't need you on this one. We both know what's going on here.
We both know that that's a bastard over there.
Our two pea brains are bigger than yours, God. We don't need you on this one.
Exactly.
And we're just going to stay in our misery.
That's the
and
challenging.
Upset.
That's the temptation, is when somebody comes to us telling us a grievance story that we happen to agree with. We're like,
we're happy they came to us. We can finally vent about that.
Exactly. The Federal Reserve, the government, the shadow banking industry, the cabal, the ruling elite. Oh yeah, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my temptation.
Yeah.
You know, so
don't get either one of us
started on that. Okay, right, and that's our temptation, to make evil dreams seem real and to make them seem more powerful, right? To give them power when they're not real, they don't really have power.
It's like we have almost a sword, you know, this sword of truth that we walk around with. and nobody sees us carrying it. You know, it's in our mind. And we're walking around with this powerful sword. And they bring up this evil black
grievance.
And we just take our sword, which is not agreeing to join.
Yeah, right.
And divide a division from us in that story.
Right.
And then just stand there trusting Spirit, now that we've agreed we're not going to join in their deal, what would you have us say and do?
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, you know, wow. And
now we're both free.
Now we're
both free.
In 23.
Now we're both free in 23 from that dream of limitation and malice and grievances and sin and death and loss and pain and suffering. You know, I don't. You know, the evil dream about, you know, the you know, how the world is in the control of evil manipulators, you know, who really are just trying to turn mankind into slaves and debt slaves.
And then we wonder why they stay there.
And you know,
here they are 20 years later, they're still running the place.
I know. They've been in charge for a long time.
We keep joining and
I know, exactly. It's like, you know, I don't want that to be reality, but you know,
of course we know it is. And so it's so weird that it stays on reality.
That's just a coincidence.
And we only talk about it because it is staying on reality.
Yeah, that's just a coincidence.
We'll only stop talking about it if it stops being on reality. But until then, we gotta keep it alive by acknowledging it's there.
Exactly, and then just wishing that, you know,
wishing God would do something about it.
Wishing God would do something about the evil banking.
About
the evil banking cabal.
That story.
Exactly.
And see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the last week, you know, there was a couple of things that I heard that I really like. I like that story better. You know, I think I'm going to join with that. And that was a few times there. I was listening to folks, and they were talking about, you know, the evil plan to turn humanity into debt slaves and the New World Order and the you know, and turn us into debt slaves, and you know, we don't have enough food and whatever. And both of these people I was listening to, they were like, and it won't work. And I was like, yeah, let's go with that. It won't work. And it's like, yeah, it won't work because the ego is not of God, and so anything the ego comes up with cannot be more powerful and succeed over what God wills for humanity. It's not eternal. So I think I'm gonna go with that story.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go support that story. You know, and instead of like, oh no, you know, they're so big and powerful, and we are just these little tiny little, you know, stupid humans. So anyway, I thought that was a great miracle. Demi says, sword, warriors, free in 23, feds, insurrection, stocks, COVID, or political BS. Right on, Demi. You're so good, Demi. Shit. Sorry, keep going. I just spilled something. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So keep it going, baby. You can just,
all right, we're gonna go read back
read.
Two sentences here. I don't usually read, so bear with me, my friends.
All right.
So here we are in paragraph 2, sentence 8. You share no evil dreams if you forgive. See your brother or sister differently. Forgive the dreamer, perceive that the dreamer, the person with the fearful nightmare dream, is not the dream that they made.
Right.
The dream that they made is their own interpretation of what's going on.
Right.
And so the dreamer having the nightmare dream that we've come to help set free.
Yes.
And so they cannot be a part of yours from which you are both free. And so he cannot be a part of yours.
Your evil dream.
Right. Because you don't have one.
Yeah, like, exactly.
If you're not joining in one, then you don't have one.
And I just shared, like, our evil dream. I just shared, you know, our evil dream was like the evil banking shadow cabal.
Yeah.
You know, evil dream.
Oh, I thought you were just giving them an example.
No, that's
But you actually
that was ours.
you actually told them,
Yes.
like let them into
I
our
did.
walk-in closet and
I
told
did.
them some of our
I did.
evil dreams. I see what you did. Forgiveness separates the dreamer from the evil dreams and thus releases him. So we're gonna end here, but I'm gonna wait for
Yes.
Anna to come back because it's coming up to 8:28.
I got so excited about my evil dream that I
Yeah.
literally just spilled
She spilled some
something.
evil dream water on the floor. And now we have to wipe up the evil dream water.
Exactly.
But it's okay now
But
because
it's all good.
I
'cause
didn't join her.
Exactly.
in the thought of,
He didn't go like, oh my God, you're so
What did
clumsy.
you
What's
do
your
there?
jeez?
Is that evil dream water you spilled on the floor, on the carpet?
Is that red evil dream
Yeah.
water?
Is
Of
that-
course.
Oh, that's bloody. That is evil.
On the carpet. All right, you guys. Well, this is our last class of 2023, and you have helped us today to be free in 2023.
And thank you so much, as Anna said earlier. You know, the honest truth is we rarely ever go, oh, we really want to do class tonight.
No.
We really love doing these classes, and for us, it forces us. That's kind of what I need in my life. It forces us to read them.
Yeah.
Because we say we're going to be here at these times, but then you show up. And you show up consistent like you guys do, whether you do live or later, doesn't matter, because we see comments and the numbers of views later as the week goes on. But it really does encourage us, as Anna has said over and over, we can't even put it into words. It really just encourages us, because I feel like it's like, do we really deserve all of this to be? Because it puts you on the fast track.
Yes, it does.
When you put yourself in however position you have to put yourself in that makes you read this curriculum. And when you read it and read it and read it, and you really put yourself like a student down in the chair, there at the school desk, and open the book and keep reading it and reading it, then when these things happen in your life, like Demi just beautifully described earlier, then you'll quickly remember, because you're in it so much, you're in the word of the curriculum so much, that when they're coming to you with their fearful dream, you're remembering faster and more often. Oh yeah, I don't want to share in this with them, because I want to set people free. I don't want to just keep myself free from all this worldly harm. I came here to make a difference. I came here to make a change. And that change is to set them free from those evil dreams. And Spirit beautifully will give us the words to say to them when we call on Spirit. How would you have me respond to this person? And what comes out of our mouth is amazing.
Yes, is a miracle.
Yes.
Yeah. This is how you become the miracle worker and the healer that you were meant to be. You have a part in the healing plan of mankind, and your part in love's plan for the healing of mankind is essential. It is essential. And until you take your part in love's plan for healing of mankind, then the plan is incomplete. And your plan, your part that is essential is releasing yourself from fear. Happiness is your part in God's plan for the healing of mankind, and your part is essential. And this is how we do it. Course in Miracles is teaching us how to do it, how to be free from fear ourselves, and how to release others from their dreams of fear, so that they can be happy, so that you can be happy. That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for. And you guys have been such a profound blessing, miracle in our lives in this past year, and we cannot tell you how grateful we are for your participation and your support and your encouragement and your questions and your consistency. Truly, I could just cry in gratitude to you guys. So appreciate you all so much, and we truly wish for you a truly new year. And 2023, the year we are free.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to you.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.